And welcome to the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Wednesday edition, and we are privileged to start it off by welcoming in for the first time to the show Senator Marco Rubio from the great state of Florida. Hello, Senator. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm okay. Some breaking news before we get to your bill, which would delay ObamaCare's individual mandate implementation. We have some news from CBS News today. They say that the shop and browse feature on the website, if you could get on the website, comes with the wrong price tags. It lumps people into two broad groups, 50 and over and 49 or under. And then it takes a 27-year-old typical person to price the policies for under 50 and a 50-year-old typical person to price the policies for everyone 50 and over. So in the case of many seniors, for example, they point out that the premiums could say $327, but they're actually $680. I mean, the whole thing is nuts.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just one more dysfunction of the website now. It's also not giving you accurate information, underestimating the true cost for people. You know, and if you did that in the business world, you'd probably get sued. So just imagine they're doing that to people now in the government sector. Look, this thing is a disaster. Every day is going to bring more bad news. To begin with, the federal government shouldn't be in the business of doing all this. And even if it's, and then number two, it can't do a good job of it, as you're well seeing. The federal government just is not capable of doing projects of this magnitude in an effective way. And we're seeing it again. And that's why it's so unfair that people next year are going to have to pay a fine to the IRS for not buying health insurance when the website they're being sent to buy it from doesn't work.
And your bill would delay any punishment to anybody who's not signed up until that website is up and running for 6 months and then certified as efficient, correct?
That's right. I mean, look, to be clear, I want to get rid of the whole thing and repeal it. I think ultimately that's going to happen. But in the interim, I certainly feel like we have an obligation to protect people from the harmful effects that the rollout of this law is having. And I just think it's fundamentally unfair. And I don't know how anyone can disagree with me. I think it's fundamentally unfair that the government will be able to fine you and tax you for not buying health insurance if the website that they're touting and asking you to use not only doesn't work, but is giving you inaccurate information, as you've outlined.
Well, you say you don't know how anyone could dispute that. I would say that's common sense. But defying common sense, once again, is Nancy Pelosi, who said she does not support an extension of the Obamacare open enrollment. She said, I think we should be able to go forward. There are glitches, but there are solutions as well. So there's one.
Well, again, I think they're going to be stubborn about it. They're going to dig in. I think this is their pet project. They were willing to shut down the U.S. government over to protect this issue. They've been willing to do all sorts of things. You saw how they bent the rules just to get it passed when it first happened in the middle of the night. So, again, it doesn't surprise me, but eventually the lines will crack on this because the pressure will be too intense. You simply can't do this to people. And you're already starting to see Democrats, like my own colleague from New Hampshire, Senator Shaheen, coming out and saying, well, maybe we should make some changes to this. And I think you're going to hear more and more of that in the days to come.
Senator, in your own home state, Florida Blue is terminating about 300,000 policies. That's 80% of its individual policies. You have the same thing happening in California, in Pittsburgh, in cities and states all over the country. This is according to a report out today. And this isn't going to stop. And the lie that if you like your insurance, you could keep your insurance is not proving to be the case.
Well, that's right. And the one thing that Obama really hurts is the individual marketplace. And people, those are people that go out and buy insurance for themselves, maybe they're self-employed or whatever. They go out and buy their own health insurance. They don't get it through an employer or through the government. That's the one thing that's being eviscerated by Obamacare. That's where the 300,000 is coming from. So imagine if you're one of those 300,000 people today. You've just lost your insurance. You log on to the Federal Exchange to see what you're going to have as coverage next year, and guess what? The thing doesn't work. So you can just imagine what those folks are going through right now, and it's just one more reason why this whole law is such a terrible idea.
Senator Kathleen Sebelius was interviewed on CNN yesterday. Basically, I'm not signing up. I already have health care. And, oh, no, the president, he didn't know anything about any problems until 1 or 2 days after the launch. And, by the way, when asked about resigning, she just danced around that question. Should she be fired, or should she resign, or should she stay?
That might be.
Should she be fired, or should she resign, or should she stay?
That might be. based on that, I'll make a determination about what I think she should do on this issue here. I'm not listening to me. That's how I feel about it. But just think about that for a moment. And it's chief spokesperson for this law.
We had a little trouble hearing you because of your cell phone. You basically said, when I asked you, should Kathleen Sebelius be fired or not, you said you're going to talk to her at the hearings next week, but in the meantime, she should stay?
Yeah, well, in the meantime, is between now and next week. So there's going to be a hearing in the House. They're going to have very clear questions of her, and hopefully from that we'll have more indications about what she knew or should have known and what she failed to do personally. At the end of the day, she's accountable for this. But the idea the president didn't know anything about this is startling to me. He is the chief spokesperson for this law. How can he not know? How could he not ask how was the website going before it launched?
Well, it seems to be a pattern with this president. One more for you very quickly, Senator. The congressman from your state, Alan Grayson, recently just launched a fundraising letter with a cross, a burning cross, representing, and then after the burning cross is the T, it says Tea Party, EA Party. There hasn't been a lot of outrage, not as much as I think there should be. What's your reaction to something like that?
Well, it's not surprising. This is an individual who's had a history of outrageous and ridiculous claims and comments, and he's not held accountable by anybody. The mainstream media just kind of ignores it. If that were a Republican or a conservative, of course, they'd be calling for their resignation. There'd be mass protests, but you won't hear any talk about that. And I think it just exposes the hypocrisy in the mainstream media. But I'm not surprised that this individual did that. I mean, he's been embarrassing the state of Florida now for the better part of 4 to 6 years. All
right. Senator, thank you very much, sir, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's Senator Mark Rubio. Yeah, Grayson really is never held accountable, and he is an embarrassment at the very least. There you go. Very interesting conversation. He's doing a bunch of these kinds of things to get the word out about his bill. We also have a report today, as if this wasn't enough, and we're gonna get you actually. Actually, we'll take a break, and eventually we'll get to the CBS report about how, imagine, on the website, when you get into the website, they have two categories, 50 or over or 49 and under. And then they give you a price based on a 27-year-old if you're 49 or under, and a 50-year-old if you're 50 or over. So if you're 60, 70, 80, it's gonna be tremendously more. And if you're 30 and 40 and 45, it's going to be tremendously more. So people are going online, they're putting in 50 or over, or 49 and under, and they're getting cockamamie estimates for their policies that are completely inaccurate. And that's done on purpose. That's not, a glitch, a technological glitch. But anyway, here's another report that I want to get in here before we go to break. The Obama administration asked the North Dakota, their largest insurer, in North Dakota, not to publicize how many people have signed up for health insurance through a new online exchange. During a forum in Fargo for people interested, James Nickel of Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Dakota told the crowd his company received a request from the federal government not to reveal how many people have signed up. The most open and transparent government and administration in our history, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're coming back. Lots more ahead. 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629 on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.